Hello, this is Jean Proppy. Welcome to Music 114, the history of rock and roll through MiraCosta College. This video is generally to help you navigate the site, which is held in Moodle. I'll go over a few of the highlights of some of the ways to navigate, to get into the boxes, but feel free to click around and investigate yourselves. There really isn't much that you can hurt. And well, let's get going. So the main part of the course here is in the center, in this box entitled Course Information. You will have your syllabus, which is critical to this course. It's a pretty lengthy one, but do take your time to read through it in its completely. It has some real important tips for being successful in Music 114. Your textbooks are listed below. There are 2 of them, but they are available readily online through many different booksellers used. So I have seen them combined. I think you can get them between $50 and $60 used. But do order them right away because all of your assignments are based off of these books. There is a grading rubric for writing assignments, so you can see a scale of where you would fall if, depending on the level of your writing and what is required for this course. There are discussion forums in our course, many of them, and here is a link to how they work, how they are graded, and the dates for this term. In fact, I think I'll start here and open this up first. Take a look at some of the guidelines. So how they work is it's a discussion. Keep in mind you are discussing points that I pose, introducing yourselves in the very first one, for instance. Sometimes we'll watch films and you'll bring then a discussion about that film to the forum for that week. But it's not a post your idea and leave. It's a discussion between you and your other classmates. So the way to earn the most points is to respond and have a conversation via this discussion format. So you need to post at least once before Wednesday of the week that the discussion forum is open, and at least then again once before it closes. They usually close at midnight or thereabouts on Sundays. There are some more guidelines on this page on how to respond, how to not to respond, how to alter your emails if you need to change the frequency of the emails you receive for discussion forums, and the dates for the different forums for us for this term are on the bottom here. So the course is set up so that the center is the meat, what I call the meat and potatoes of the course. The course information box is the first thing you see. As I mentioned, the syllabus, your textbooks. We're already talking about the discussion forums. A link or 2 to the student help desk is included. This is real critical. I am not a technical advisor for you. I'm your facilitator, your instructor, and your content creator. I can answer questions regarding content, but if you have any computer issues, if the Moodle site is not functioning for you properly, if the MiraCosta online site is not functioning properly, you need to set up a student help desk ticket, and they will respond to you usually within 24 hours or sometimes sooner than that. I'm not usually as easily available as they are, so please go there first. Now, of course, if you go there and you don't get a response, say within 24 hours, please politely let me know. I will see if I can get someone to answer your questions. Also, in the course information box, here are lots of instructions, guides, outlines, lists, study guides, things to help you succeed in the course. There are the instructions for the Rockin' in Time readings, which is this book here, one of your textbooks. There are study questions that I build the 4 non-listening quizzes from, so you should be able to have those answered and available way before you start to take the non-listening quizzes. You will not be turning in answers to these assignments for me for work in this class. They are intended for you to use to prepare for the quizzes. There are the instructions for the non-listening quizzes, which state what I just mentioned in a little more detail. The instructions for the Pop, Rock, and Soul Reader, which is your second textbook up here. These you do turn in as written assignments. Most weeks of the course will have a series of articles from this book with questions that you need to answer in an essay format, and you will have provided with submit boxes to turn those in as well. You'll have term lists for both the midterm exam and the final exam. These are not necessarily defined in your two textbooks. You will need to do some internet research to determine these definitions on your own. The instructions for the listening quizzes and the song lists that the listening quizzes are taken from. And it's required. Everyone must take the practice listening quiz. Absolutely no excuses for technical errors will be accepted, especially if I go in and see that you did not even bother to try to take the practice listening quiz. It's just a few questions, but it's a way for you to determine if your sound is working properly. Can you click on the selection and hear it more than once? You know, if there's any technical issues, try the practice listening quiz. It's not worth any points for anyone, but it is there to get accustomed to the format far before the first actual listening quiz takes place. But these are the instructions on how to get ready and how to utilize the different lists. You will have a formal essay in this class of a rock and politics essay that will be from a song you will be given in week 3. This will explain the details for that. And then there's 2 concert reports. You get to go to 2 concerts for this course. One must be a rock concert. The second can be another rock concert, or it can be a jazz concert. And the guidelines on how to format that report, questions to think about as you go to the shows, lots of good details are contained in this link. For both of these, there are samples. If you go over to the right-hand side, and we'll go up just a little bit here, there's a box called Sample Essays. If it's closed, like that, just click on the plus and it'll open up. There's a sample rock concert essay concert report, and there is a sample rock and politics essay. A little further down in the course information box here, I have a link to concerts in the San Diego area for those living near the college or in the whole San Diego area. In their calendars of general venues, a couple different links. This is also a great area where students can contribute knowledge you already have of your area for good concerts coming up, because these are by no means the all-exclusive lists here. You can post information for upcoming shows actually in the introductory discussion forum, because it'll remain open for the duration of our semester together. All right, back to the top here a little bit. So I briefly talked about a box or two over on the right side, but let's look over on the left. This is where you will be able to access your grades. Your profile settings are important. This is where you can add a picture to your profile. And I want to note that in order to expand these, you click on the sideways triangle, or you click it again and it will collapse them. You can add a picture, you can add details to your profile, you can access your messaging profile settings. We are not using blogs in this particular course, but if you want to set some preferences for blogging, you could do it here. There is a calendar in the course that will have all of our dates eventually input. And then on the right side is a welcome box. I use this for general announcements for the course. If there's a new link that you could be helpful for you, or let's say we have an issue and we needed to change a date of something, a due date. Sometimes I'll put reminders up in here. So you might want to look up here the first time you sign in each day. Activities is a box that can show you at a glance all of your assignments. Right now some are hidden because we're just prior to opening up the whole course for everyone. But let's click on assignments. Those are your written assignments. Yeah, we only see a few of them right now, but they will be fed in once I get in there and update them and edit them to feed them properly. You will be able to see the forum dates here as well as the link we looked at earlier, how discussion forums work, grading, and dates. You'll be able to see your Turnitin assignments. You only have a few of those in the course, and other resources for the course. So it's generally another way to find some of your assignments, your homework, and resources fairly quickly. I explained the sample essays. Throughout the course, you'll be doing some additional internet resource searching for different discussion forums, for some of your papers, just generally to fulfill some of the requirements of the course as well. Not all the information is contained in either the lectures or the textbooks. So I've included a few links that can be helpful. This internet resource is a link to Billboard Magazine's archives. They have a wonderful search engine where you can put in Elvis Presley, and it'll give you some of their archived articles on Elvis Presley's, for instance. RSS feeds are feeds to current music magazines. NME News is an English publication. New York Times has a rock music section, and this will continue to change, of course, as their feeds get updated, but you can open them and see more. Rolling Stone magazine and Spin magazine are all included in this feed section over here. All right, let's look at week 1. You will have an introductory discussion forum. That's where you're going to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I will also pose questions from the syllabus, from any of these getting started instructional areas of the course information box up here, from the discussion forum, so be prepared to be able to answer those, and the other classmates will see your answers. Even if they're duplicated, it'll help people get around the course. I'll also keep it open for the entire semester for people to post questions to one another. Hey, there's a concert coming up. Hey, I need help finding this particular resource. It's a great way for classmates to continue to discuss and help each other. Everyone must take the mandatory introductory quiz. It is based entirely off of the syllabus and all the resource materials in that upper box at the top of the course. All the information boxes, the grading rubrics, the discussion forum instructions, and it is an indicator too of who is not showing up for the course. So if it has not been taken by the 27th of January, you will be considered a no-show and dropped from the course. We have many people on a waiting list for these courses who would love to take your spot. So each week will be have contained what I call the slideshow lectures. They're my voice with a few PowerPoint slides that gives you an overview of some of the key elements for that particular topic. This particular week, week 1, you have a written assignment based off of some things mentioned in the slideshow, but also by clicking on the assignment itself, you can see the instructions. It's worth 20 points, and you will have a Turnitin box here of where you turn in that assignment. Many of the weeks will also have some previews to remind you to get ready for a film you're supposed to have rented, or a discussion that needs some extra research before it gets started. That's the case for week 2. This is a preview of the discussion we'll do in week 2. Reading the articles on Wikipedia. Everybody uses Wikipedia. The questions for the discussion forum surrounding these articles on Wikipedia. In addition, on week 2, you'll also have some written assignments based off of internet research. You can click this and read the details. 20 points are possible. Another Turnitin assignment link, and another lecture slideshow with some basic terms of music, some song forms, things that are generally get us going with the analysis of the music. The videos you see are there to help enhance your learning. They are not required necessarily, although you do want to dive into them in particular when we talk about some of the issues of the Parents Music Resource Center. That'll come up later in the term. But these are demos on things like fuzz boxes, feedback. They're to help enhance your learning of rock and roll. And rock and roll is a live medium. It needs to be seen as well as read about in books. And we need to see these videos and performances of all these great artists. So please watch the videos. Week 3 is the first week you will be using your textbooks. I purposely designed the course without the text involvement for the first 2 weeks because I realized that students are not always ready to go running in full steam from day 1. But by week 3 you better have your resources, because the rest of the course, the whole entirety of it, is really heavily dependent upon those textbooks. Here is the first chapter in the Rockin' in Time textbook and the study questions. So let's take a minute to look at that one. These are the questions for chapter 1. Every chapter will have a series of these questions. It's a really good idea to have those printed and ready as you read through the chapters. Then you can take notes on answering them so that when you take the quiz, and I've selected a random number of these from each chapter for the quiz, you will have your answers ready to go and you can then succeed, and hopefully everyone will get an A on the quizzes. That would be great. The non-listening quizzes are a combination of short answer, short essay, and a few multiple choice questions. Spelling and accuracy for grammar and whatnot do actually count on these, so be very diligent and thorough on how you fill them out. You are not timed on the non-listening quizzes. You only get one attempt, but you are not under a time limit. All right, back to where we were. In week 3, you should also be looking out for a reminder of the Rock and Politics essay. I will be emailing you the song that you will start to analyze and work on. You don't pick this yourself. You get assigned a particular song. Week 3 also includes the first written assignment from the Pop, Rock, and Soul Reader. These do not have Turnitin boxes. You'll turn in your assignment once you work on it in the same place where you'll read where the page numbers are for the articles and the questions for those articles. This one happens to be worth 30 points, so please plan ahead for these. They do take a bit of time to complete. And then another link, if you missed it in the top there, of the Rock and Politics Analysis Essay Instructions. By week 4, you have your first non-listening quiz. This quiz is based off of the chapters from Rockin' in Time. All those questions you're going to see in each chapter. I pick 25 of them, and they are part of the quizzes, non-listening quizzes. Another Pop, Rock, and Soul Reader assignment, and a reminder about the the Rock and Politics Lyric Analysis essay. If you haven't received an email from me by, say, the end of week 4, which includes the title and the group for your song, please politely send me a reminder. Maybe we have an email problem, we are not communicating properly, or maybe it just gets lost. That can happen sometimes. So be looking for those emails between week 3 and week 4. And then, again, a reminder here of some things coming up for the upcoming week here. You'll have to do some internet research on our discussion forum, so this is reminding you to take a look ahead at some of the work there. Alright, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You can reach me through the course, or you can email me at my MiraCosta College email address, and let's go up and take a look at that. That is contained in the syllabus. My email is jproppy@miracosta.edu. I will answer all emails within 48 hours. Please be sure and put Music 114 and something pertaining to our course in the subject area. I don't answer emails with blank subject areas. So get into the course, click around, investigate. You can't really hurt anything. One of the very nice things about the help desk as well is even if you're not sure, let's say you don't remember or you couldn't find our video and maybe my explanation isn't clear enough for you, you can send them a help ticket that says, can you send me the steps on how to submit a paper, on how to change the picture in my profile. They're really helpful, and they will send you links and step-by-step instructions in many cases there. So again, don't be afraid to ask questions, explore, plan ahead. That's a big important element of succeeding in any online course, is thinking ahead. Right now you will only be able to see up to week 4, but as soon as we're up and running completely, you will be able to see and access the entire course, with the exceptions of the discussion forums The actual forums themselves will open up on the date of their activity, but you can see the dates and the questions for them ahead of time. All right, welcome and enjoy learning about the history of rock and roll.